And we're back on the Fan 590. It's Joey Vendetta. Good morning. Joining us now on the telephone live from San Diego, somewhere in San Diego. I don't know if we can give the whereabouts, is Steve Perry, and I will use the term legendary vocalist because, in my opinion, Steve, and not to blow smoke, you are one of the greatest singers of all time, and I'm very pleased to have you on the show this morning.
Holy mackerel, Joey! I owe you money for such an introduction like that. Gee whiz!
How are you? How have you been?
I'm doing good. Actually, I'm actually a little bit north of San Diego in the Del Mar area. That's where I am. And it's beautiful. It's a little bit rainy out here, but it's not too cold though. I don't think.
That's where the racetrack is, right?
Yes, it is. That's right.
Have you ever been to the Del Mar racetrack?
Oh yes, many times.
Are you? You're not. Listen, we're going to talk baseball because we know that you're a big baseball guy. But you're not a horse racing guy at all, are you?
Not really, but I do enjoy the races once in a while. But I'm really a big baseball fan. It started back in 2002, is when it really kicked in for me.
So tell me about that. Obviously, growing up in California, baseball is obviously popular all over the world, but particularly in the United States of America. Tell me how you got into it, 2002.
Well, what happened was, I as a kid, I was raised, basically around music all the time. I was a drummer and drummer singer, and then I just sort of was into that forever until 2002. I had a big change in my life, and a friend of mine says, when I was up in San Francisco just vacationing one weekend, he said, listen, I'm coming up with a family. Why don't we go to a baseball game? I said, well, I'm not into sports, really. I'm into music. I don't like sports. He says, no, come on. It's Pacific Bell Park, and it's supposed to be beautiful, and the Giants are playing. I said, I don't know nothing about sports. He said, come on, why don't you just come with us? You've been isolating a lot because, I went through a breakup, if you want to know the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Went through this breakup, and so I was up there just kind of kicking back, and he said, come on. So I went with him. And walked into Pac Bell Park. I saw this amazing green field, and these guys came out with these light, sort of cream-colored uniforms with some black hats on, and I love the movie Field of Dreams, so I got sort of a hit from that. Started thinking about the movie Field of Dreams, and the next thing I know, I'm watching the game, and I'm trying to remember when I was, in high school and stuff, the game, because I was in, like I said, music. So I'm trying to remember the game and got into it. And the next thing I know, I just got bit by the bug in 2002 of baseball, and I stayed up there for that entire season. And that year, the Giants went to the World Series and lost to the Angels, and I've been a fan ever since.
So as a kid, because you were into music, and if you're just tuning in, we're in conversation with Steve Perry. Yes, that's Steve Perry, the vocalist. Now,
that one.
Yes, it's not the plumber from Reseda or the plumber from Rexdale, because I am in
wait
Toronto.
a minute, I have done construction, so go easy.
Oh no, I know. You're yeah. We won't get into that, but let's talk about 2002. The first year you're into it, the Giants go to the World Series, and so I take it you became a Giants fan then, but you're obviously so closely associated with the city of San Francisco anyway, because that's where Journey kind of came up and got
totally
together. So I won't say it's ironic, but is that kind of a weird coincidence?
It is kind of amazing that I just gravitated back to San Francisco because I had been living down in Del Mar, and I just went up to San Francisco just to chill because I love the city. It has been a place in my heart since I was a kid, before I even joined Journey. And when I joined the band, yes, hailed from San Francisco. All the members were from there. And so all of a sudden I found myself in a band from San Francisco writing music in that area. From everything was ever written was sung and recorded in the Bay Area and written in the Bay Area. And so, it just kind of, I don't know, I just emotionally, I guess I needed to just gravitate to square one and spend a little weekend up there and just kind of regroup, So I think, I guess there are no accidents. I was just sort of pulled back to the city by the bay,
So tell me about your love affair with the Giants, especially. We can get into this. This year they come through, they win, and it's kind of ironic that the first year that you become a real Giants fan and you spend the summer in San Francisco and go to a lot of games and all that, as you said earlier, but they go to the World Series and they lose. So how crushed were you in 2002, or were you too new of a fan to take it really, really hard?
That's exactly right. I took it hard because it was exciting, and it was the first time I was ever buying tickets for playoff games in 2002, and all of a sudden I'm buying tickets for World Series games up there, and it was so exciting, exhilarating. And then when they went to Anaheim, I decided to not buy tickets and go to Anaheim. And so we lost in Anaheim. And so I took it a little hard, but I was new, you know. So the next year is when I realized that what baseball really was in 2002, because 2003 was not the same, or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9. Mm-hmm. And then show up this last season, and here we go again. And it's like we had this little sort of like, for lack of a better term, you know, there were some dumpster kids on the team that were just picked up on waivers, and they all admit it. They sort of had a scrappiness to them because they were the misfits that nobody wanted, but they had heart, you know. They had fervor from their passion for the game, and I could see it in the beginning of 2010. I could really see it. Of course, it really helps to have Matt Cain, and oh my goodness, mm-hmm. Tim Lincecum doesn't hurt either, and you know, Sanchez, great. These are all great pitchers, and I mean, there's tons of great pitchers on the team. It really helped. But everybody knows that we were lacking in the hitting area, and so we started slowly developing that. Then we got Cody towards the end there. He was one of our last acquisitions, I think. And then when we were in the playoffs, we went to Philly. This guy was a star. He just became a major stud, and he won some games for us in Philly against some serious pitching.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, serious pitching.
Yeah, definitely.
And, you know, I don't know. I think this year it took all this time to really, really know what it was like and what was going on and what the odds were. But as I said in another station in San Francisco, I did an interview with KMBR up there, the sports leader, they call themselves up there. They kept on saying statistics, you know. Well, Steve, statistics say that when, you know, Matt Cain is facing off with so-and-so and when Lincecum's facing off with this guy. And I'm going, listen, guys, you know, I love the game. I'm crazy about the game. Yes, I've been in it now only since 2002, but I don't really pay a lot of attention to statistics, and I'll tell you why. Because from a physics standpoint, the ball is round. And from the physics standpoint, the bat is round. And when it's coming at you at a vast rate of speed with English on it, doing all sorts of aerodynamic maneuvers, when that ball gets hit with that bat, any damn thing can happen. And the only thing those guys on that field are trying to do is react as quick as humanly possible to the anything can happen situation. And that's what makes the game a great equalizer to whether you're a team that spends $200 million or you're a team that spends, you know, $70 million.
Yeah, or even less. There's been there's been many examples of that. You know, the Tampa Bay Devil Rays obviously come to mind, and here in Toronto, you know, the Blue Jays are a team that don't have a massive payroll, and you know, there's times where they hang in, and then as we get closer to September, they kind of fade away. So I absolutely agree with you 110%. Tell me how involved were you with the team as it got closer and closer and closer to the World Series? Because, you know, obviously you were going to games, but being a guy who obviously, you know, sang in this band from San Francisco, this little band called Journey, and being a guy who obviously gravitated towards the Giants, I imagine you developed a relationship with the team and the players. Did you get involved in anything specifically, or were you just going to games?
Well, my mojo was to stay away. It really was to stay out of that. I mean, I had so many opportunities to go to batting practice, and I had this whole mojo that I am not stepping on the field because we were doing so great, and I just didn't want to juice up this, you know, this Steve Perry thing. I'm going to walk on the field. I ain't just a baseball fan. I love baseball. They never even played the music in the stadium because the guys that take care of the music there, they know that I come there so often just for the baseball. And it's just so exciting to me to watch the thrill of the game. So I'm not there to sell a book or to sell an album, you know.
Yeah.
And they don't even, like I said, they don't play the music, nor do they ask me to do anything promotional or anything like that. But when we were in the playoffs, I got this tap on the shoulder from the musical director who handles the live music there, and he said, Steve, you know, we've never asked you, and we know you love the game. We never